Essay, hard photo essay. So hard photo essay is a new story demonstrating exceptional use of natural sound, sound bites, sound effects, and/or music. Stories in this category are serious, not soft or humorous. Stories with any narrative are not allowed in this category. Entries must be 10 minutes or shorter.
What's the category number again? I'm sorry.
31.
Douglas's mother is hoping a service dog could not only help her with the 8-year-old's care, but bring so much more to help his comfort of living.
He's just a ball of love.
White shoes, I love my white shoes.
He just has joy in the things that he does. Yeah, you love that piano, huh? Douglas has a microdeletion on his 8th chromosome, so that caused his heart defect. He was born in congestive heart failure, caused hypotonia from birth. So we always knew that his muscles there's something going on with his muscles. It delays everything. Step. He was 4 and he was in my arms like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was gonna get up and get ready for work, and he started to seize. My husband called 911, and I think the seizure lasted like 8 minutes. We ended up going to the hospital. They diagnosed him with epilepsy that day. It is extremely tough. It is very challenging. Our sleeping situation changed from the day he had his first seizure, because one of us has to sleep with him all the time. We keep a doorbell system next to the bed. That basically wakes my husband up. If I'm with Douglas and I press it, then it'll wake him up so he can come in, let him know that, it's letting him know that Douglas had a seizure or is in the middle of a seizure. And the other one comes in and helps to do rescue meds. Most people's seizures stop on their own, but for him, they've almost all required intervention. A service dog for us is the answer.
Four Paws is located in Xenia, Ohio. We do serve children, veterans, and adults all over the globe, and we serve over 100 families a year. And so far, we've placed about 1,500 dogs since our 22 years of existence.
They train a dog for 2 years, but ultimately they're training it towards the end in their advanced training for the specific child, because he is on the autism spectrum, and because of his disabilities, if he was to get out, he has no sense of danger. He'd have no sense of where he was going. So the dog is going to be trained to track his exact scent, as well as his seizure scent.
Four Paws, it cost us between $40,000 and $60,000, but we ask our families to only raise or pay a fee for service of $17,000.
We started the Facebook fundraiser page to raise the funds to help Douglas get his service dog. We've raised over $12,000, which is 72% of the goal. All right. All done. What I'm hoping is that I can relax a little bit.
What color did it turn his shoes?
Red.
Red, it did turn his shoes red, good job.
Our life changed the day he had his first seizure in a way that I never thought he would.
What color did it turn his shoes?
The dog will be right next to him, that I'm not gonna be as worried if Douglas is walking up the 2 stairs between the family room and the kitchen. That's what I look forward to, is him having that independence.
Well, I love you, Douglas.
Coastal Galveston, Texas is hit with a crippling ice storm.
Steam was coming up maybe 300 yards out into the surf. Never have I seen that. Solid ice on the roads. Beautiful, very beautiful.
Seeing the snow on the sand, something I'd never seen.
But I mean, this is shocking. We woke up at like 3 in the morning and it's incredible.
It's crazy. Nobody was ready for this.
This house is about 101 years old. Our pipes are busted. This is day 3 of having no electricity and no water here in Galveston. It's very, very cold. They're not doing too good. They're up next to the heater just like I am.
We have no way to cook, no way to heat the house or nothing. And every place that opened, like McDonald's, there's a half-mile line to get in.
Number 2 and what to drink? Coke, please.
So many people at that McDonald's getting burgers first time ever. Even in summertime, it doesn't get that crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get some McChickens probably. And when I get it, I'm gonna...
Yeah, the pizza place even further down was backed up.
Okay, $19.99. Thank you. All right, thank you.
My biggest fear right now is more for my neighbors. Unfortunately, he's about 86 years old and lives by himself in kind of a shed, if you will. So actually, I don't know where James is right now. Hi, James.
I don't need much. That's why I'm gonna give me a bag of candy out the house. That's all. Nothing but a bag of candy.
And I'm just really appreciative to know that there's, other good Houstonians and Galvestonians that care about helping their neighbors during this time.
All righty.
The power went out. It's been really cold. Huddling, blankets, dogs. Layers of clothing. Never been through anything like this before.
Just not real sure what the night's gonna hold.
Power outage.
Very surreal.
Total darkness.
Just a very unusual thing, not having any lights and very little sound and very little movement.
Once you lose power and water, those things are hard to come by because the supply is limited on the island.
Let's go. I'm gonna probably cook some food that'll be able to last us for a few days.
There you go. You have a good one.
We just need prayer.
And I'm praying for everybody in Texas, really.
We're a good little community here, and we tend to help each other out in bad times. That's one of the things we love about Galveston.
All the way through. We're getting the water in Galveston, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Just hang in there, and Galvestonians, Texans, we will get through this.
People end up here for a million different reasons.
All right, thank you very much.
70 to 80 people who come in just for a hot meal. We've also learned that the Galveston will show up if we ask them to, and so that's been really amazing to see.
Normalcy is returning at a slow pace.
Oh, I'm starting to warm up. It just feels great.
Once the water is fixed at the house with the broken pipes, then normalcy will get back.
Boulder County Open Space works to recover from the Kelwood fire in Hale Valley Ranch.
Un minuto se me hace 2, 3 horas, mucho. Sí, un futuro mejor para los niños. Yo miraba en videollamada a los niños cómo dormían, ¿verdad? Cómo aguantaban frío, cómo aguantaban agua, dormían en el suelo. Ya cuando me llamaron que ellos estaban ahí, ya me sentí tranquila y agradecida, pues, de que ya los niños ya estaban en manos de migración. Agradecida con Dios, sí. Viene la gente, viene más gente, viene más gente. Ahí tienen que venir, ahí tienen que venir. Sí, vamos a cuidar de ellos, le vamos a dar sus necesidades, vamos a estar que ellos estén bien. Nos toca, hay que hacerlo. Familia, todos somos familia.
Sí, me siento feliz porque ya estoy con mis familiares que no he visto casi como en 3 años.
Ya lo queremos mucho y lo amamos.
Esperamos algún día volvernos a ver.
Sí, y abrazarnos. Igual como lo hicimos ahorita con nuestros familiares.
Sí.
Pero si no vas a dejar.
I did misspeak. The project description for that video was actually some Hondurans have to make a courageous choice for the future of their family. This next one is Boulder County Open Space works to recover from the Calwood fire in Hale Valley Ranch.
Valley Ranch is one of our most popular open space areas in North Boulder County near Lyons, and it was the location of about half of the Calwood fire. So our project right now is to try and stabilize the slopes and prevent erosion from happening in the monsoons. We really have a lot of work ahead of us to stabilize the soils, and it's going to mean a lot of contractors in here. It's going to mean helicopters flying and mulch dropping from the helicopters.
Using helicopters is about the only way to access a lot of this terrain since it's pretty steep and rugged. Most of these trees are hazard trees that have been removed from along our roads and trails. It's kind of a nice closed loop here that we can remove trees that are a hazard, produce these wood shreds, and then we can then put on the slopes for hill slope stabilization.
We have targeted 1,500 acres for aerial mulching.
He's got to swing wide to gain enough altitude to get up to the top of the slope. We're doing about 5 tons an acre, so it's a lot of helicopter trips. It's really critical to get some cover on the slopes to prevent erosion, debris flows, flooding. The research has shown it's one of the single best things you can do in that critical first and second year after post-fire. Having the helicopters for the aerial for the immediate fire response and the defense, and then now for the recovery as well. Yeah, it points to how critical this resource is, this aerial resource. There he goes. Nice.
We are doing some fire recovery seeding today. And we're kind of entering into the burn area of these slopes now. Try and stabilize the slopes where it burned really hot and a lot of regrowth is not happening. The trees are completely torched, and when it gets to that point, that becomes really more devastating. The soils, they lose a lot of their organic matter. Diversity is resiliency, really. And that holds true in a lot of facets of society, but it also holds true in our ecosystems too. If you have a diverse landscape, you then will have a diverse wildlife population and suites of populations that helps to safeguard from different natural disasters. Going light on the seed?
Fire is an integral part of our ecosystem. And here in the Front Range, we've suppressed fire for the last 140 years. And so we have forests that are overgrown, that aren't used to fire, and that are unhealthy.
You know, we certainly cannot control Mother Nature by any means, but I think the more that we try to learn from Mother Nature and work with Mother Nature, the more successful we'll be at mitigating some damaging impacts from large-scale natural disasters, as well as stewarding these lands as best as possible.
Based off the concept of the telephone of the wind that was created in Japan following the tsunami on the 11th of March in 2011, a man from Olympia, Washington created a phone in the middle of a park after a close friend's child unexpectedly passed away. The rotary phone, physically connected to nothing, stands as a way for people that have lost a loved one to connect to them in a unique way.
Hi, baby. The loss of a loved one is really hard. It's really hard to accept that they're gone.
I miss you so much. You know, on your worst day of parenting, the kids are going crazy, the house is a mess, but you know, you say, well, at least the kids are alive. I don't get to say that.
Giving ourselves sacred space is really important right now, and we're all having to get creative and find it in places that maybe we don't anticipate.
This is a Priest Point Park.
It's just a really peaceful place.
I thought that maybe this might be a little bit more like primordial and private, so people could talk to their loved ones.
Call someone, but not actually.
It's my son, Tyler. I come out here where it's peaceful and quiet to connect with my son. Oh, Tyler, it's Mom again.
A family friend posted on Facebook that her 4-year-old daughter had went to sleep.
It appears that she had a seizure of some sort because all of her body was stiff.
I think with 2020 and that happening, it hit me a little harder than I expected. At that moment, like the first thing that came to my mind was I was making a phone.
I just want to see her face when I'm talking to her.
It is a phone for memories.
The phone for memories.
And saying the goodbyes you never got to say.
And saying the goodbyes that I never got to say.
My son died unexpectedly on August 28th of 2020. He was only 27 years old. Coming out here and using the phone, the telephone of the wind, it gives me comfort.
I love you and I miss you and I will be out to talk to you again. I think it's just lovely. The idea that you can still feel connected to people you care about even though they're gone.
It's really powerful. You're not expecting it. You're like, oh, okay, I'll pick up the phone. And then it's like, wow.
I love you all so much. Bodie, you are a great dog. Grandma, you are really nice. Grandpa, you are really, really nice too. I hope you have a good time in heaven.
It's another way to connect in my heart.
I'm thankful that there's an outlet for people and her memory gets to live on through the phone. There's so much I wish I could say to your face. I just ask that you come visit me more often. I'd like to see you in my dreams. It is healing. You feel lighter when you're done. I'll talk to you soon, baby. Do it together again? Okay. I can say that for sure. Good job, baby.
I bring you the story of one of Seattle's most iconic superfans. The Sonics guy was a voice not only around the Pacific Northwest, but around the nation in bringing the Seattle Supersonics back to Seattle. He touched the lives of so many, whether you knew him on a personal level or just seeing him out and about. The layers of the story go hand in hand with that of Chris's legacy.
He was on TV, he was on newspapers, he was around all the time. So it was almost like having your own local celebrity that lived right here in town. This is where he ran. He ran on 6th Avenue. He would watch the baseball games on 6th Avenue or the football games that he couldn't go see physically. You couldn't not notice who the guy was.
Giant man, full Sonics gear, huge afro. He'd always have a sign.
I feel like he was hiding behind the sign a lot of the times.
I said, Chris, you're the sign, brother. You don't need to carry a sign around anymore. Everybody knows who you are.
Yeah, open doors. He was the Sonic guy, and everybody knew it.
Save our Sonics! Save our Sonics! I see a lot of people in green and gold. I see a lot of people I would call my brother or my sister. I see we're one big happy Sonics family. Save our Sonics!
It If you're gonna do something in life, leave your mark.
We are only 10 votes away from bringing NBA basketball back to Seattle.
And he did leave his mark.
I'm really happy. We're moving in the right direction. We're halfway there.
He helped the community in that simple belief, don't ever give up.
Bring the NBA back to Seattle, back where it belongs.
That's right.
Bring them back.
The Sonics never came back, but that didn't deter him from continuing his purpose.
He wasn't just a guy holding a sign going everywhere. It opened doors for him to influence. It wasn't just pushing the Sonics, it was the fact that he had a big heart for community. He was there for people. That's another thing that a lot of people don't know about Chris. The Sonic guy, you know, he's got his sign, he's got his fame. But when Chris saw somebody in need or help, he was there. If there's one thing that Chris taught me, it was to believe.
He'd always have me draw him on the sidewalk in chalk. He's like, I need a mural, I need a mural. Like right now, the light is hitting the bricks so you can really see the texture.
In his eyes. You know, it looks like he's staring right at you. It's a fun ride, brother. It's a fun ride.
We finally got him a mural, but he's not here to see it.
I just remember falling on the ground and trying to accept it, you know? I parked right here late in the evening and I just stared at it like, hey, you know, like, I miss you, buddy.
He's always had like a heart condition that he was battling. Like it had started getting worse.
Called him up and he said, hey, I'm not feeling good today. Went over, knocked on the door, and I realized immediately that he was in trouble. I said, you're going to the hospital. Got to get you in there, brother. He said, give me a second. And he walked back in the house, put on his Sonics gear, put his pick in his hair, and then he got in the car. So then I took him to the emergency room, and we know the rest of the story.
We recognize, Master, that you already know how heavy some hearts are, the emotions that some of us are experiencing even right now.
He was so present to us in so many places. He became part of us. He became part of our heart.
Chris Brannon was the most authentic, kind soul that I'll ever meet. I don't know, I just miss him.
Everybody wanted to shake his hand. Everybody wanted a picture. We would just take a few steps and it's like, hey, Sonic Sky, can I get a picture? And he always said yes.
He gave that person enough time to feel important and to feel special.
He's the #1 example in my life that good guys do win, and that kindness has a strength to it that shouldn't be denied.
If we could just lead a Supersonics cheer for Chris, that'd be great.
Super! Super!
I hope we can hear you up there. Cheers, Chris.
Let's all face Chris. We're all facing this way. We're all facing the stage.
There's a song that says, if anybody ever write my life story, I hope that they would say, I tried to help somebody. And that is the epitome of the life of Chris. And if we really want to keep his legacy alive, put a shirt on, put a hat on, and turn around and keep turning until God show you somebody that you can help. And when that person asks you, what made you help me? Nod the Sonics hat and say it was because of Chris.
It's been 5 years since a Falcon Heights police officer shot and killed Philando Castile during a traffic stop. However, his legacy continues to live on.
Black lives matter. All lives matter. You matter, I matter, but black lives matter.
2016, it was kind of hard to believe exactly what happened on July the 6th.
See, when I say Black Lives Matter, it is not to disintegrate any other race because skin tone is just a shade.
Because I lost a piece of my heart.
Started around 9 o'clock last night with that traffic stop on Larpenter Avenue in Falcon Heights.
That's where an officer opened fire on Philando Castile as he sat in the passenger seat of a car driven by his girlfriend with a child in the back.
Actually, I talked to Philando the day before he was murdered, the same way that pretty much Alden Sterling was murdered by the hands of people who were supposed to protect us.
Living different lives, and we all have lives, and we all matter. But Black Lives Matter, you see.
You know, I lost my friend right here on this road here, man. You know, so Philando's also somebody who motivates me right now to this day, man. A lot of the stuff I'm doing right now to this day is because of Philando.
It was devastating to everyone that knew Philando because it was that thing, how could it happen to him?
Black and brown people, for some reason, have been treated differently. We can take it back to the 16th century when we were being shipped overseas, see.
He was just an all-around good guy.
There was this man who spoke to me in my dream. He told me to follow the dream. Go create a scheme that'll prevent another dead teen, and that's why Black Lives Matter, I mean.
Actually, I go and I sit there by myself when people are not there because I know Philando's in that space and he'll come to that space.
Would it matter to you if people you easily compared to keep dying around you, and you similar thinking you can die too? Tell me you won't try to take a stand. I'm not racist, I'll shake a hand and make a friend. I understand that we both are women and men, but Black Lives Matter again.
The fact remains, I have work to do. This type of behavior and what happened to my son should never have happened, and I don't want to see it happen to anybody else's child because it's devastating.
What hurts is like the George Floyds and the Dante Wrights and you know and the Winston Smiths. Those hurt because we could have prevented those guys, man. You know, if we take a look at what happened to Philando and said, okay, we're gonna put things in place so that this doesn't happen anymore. And if this does happen, we're gonna hold people accountable. You know, put the fear of some in some of these officers. We could still save another life, and we refuse to do that.
Why? They just killed another brother again. It put me in complete attack mode, ready to attack those ones who pretend we don't matter, when our lives do matter. But see, I would rather live together in peace than fall apart from hate. Though it is a shame there are many that would hate every word in this poem, I wonder why it took this long to realize Black Lives Matter.
Until they visualize our children the way they visualize their own, it's gonna keep on happening.
Until the color of your skin is no longer significant.
I look at today and I see blinded youth, more lives than truth. All lives are truly worthy to be appreciated, but I don't feel appreciated, so I gotta make a change. Well, I say again, with a raised fist and a picket sign that's easily recognized with a bunch of people behind me, all agreeing to the fact that our lives are black and we matter.
If you ask me what I think he say right now to us, just keep on fighting for me. Keep on fighting for me and people that look just like me and people that dress like me. Keep on fighting for us.
I always recognize the community, and I'm so grateful that they be loving on Phil and still remembering him, and that's something that I do. I want to make sure that there are some remnants of my son throughout the state of Minnesota. I want him to leave his footprints of his existence on this planet.
It's a lovely day because there's a lot of people out here eating, listening to music, kids playing games, running around.
It's always good to see the community come together, and I will do this every year until my death.
You matter, I matter, all lives matter. But what is more urgent is that Black Lives Matter. Rest in peace, Philando Castile.
I'm ready to vote, or if necessary, bully you into a vote. You're muted.
6 and 7, right? Is that where you're going?
I'm going with the telephone.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I almost started bawling.
oh no, I started crying. I'm glad I was off. I was eating a cold piece of pizza. I'm sorry. It had to happen. I haven't eaten. But I was done. I mean, if you look at my, I mean, that was it. That was it.
Yeah,
It
that
was, yeah.
crazy powerful.
Yeah, the payoff on that. I even wrote down, who's this woman and why don't I know who she is? And then right about the time I got done typing that,
and then you do.
Oh.
It was, God, wow.
Yeah,
I'm still sitting in it.
Yeah.
Oh. I like Sonic Sky #2. I felt the Philando Castile piece could be a third. I thought it was a cut above the others.
Which one?
The last one we just saw. Actually, sorry. I thought the Boulder or the what was it called? It was about like restoring.
The Boulder, the fire story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty strong too.
It was my favorite up until the damn telephone.
Yeah.
Can we award 2 number ones?
I would discourage that.
I think the
discourage.
I think you can make a first and a second conversation here.
So if the telephone is number 1, we're for number 2, are we between the basketball guy and Boulder, or you guys have strong feelings?
I would say not basketball. Yeah, basketball guy is a number 2 because it was clearly about that guy, and everyone we heard from, it was clearly that they were either related or he had touched somebody, as opposed to just random man on the streets. So that was kind of tough to do, and it was really long, even though I didn't like the fact that they were in that memorial for so long. The helicopter thing, I liked it because it was different. I mean, I don't see that here in Kentucky or Ohio. Our climate's different. We don't have forest fires like that. So what they were doing, I'll never see here. So I thought that was really interesting. I think that, to me, that's a third, because I didn't really feel for the people doing it, so to speak. And I'm done until we change.
Feel the same. I would have the Philando piece of the HM.
What piece are you saying, HM?
The last one, Philando. Long live his legacy.
Okay.
It was beautiful. I feel like it may be like a little bit too long, and then I really loved the poetry. It really worked. I just feel like we found out like what they were doing there, like at the very end, right? Like it was about like they're gathered at the park. That was like at the very end. I'm like, I was all in, like there's a memorial piece and I got it. And I'm like, but why are we at the park? Oh, you're doing it because they're at the park. But like, why am I finding out about it 10 seconds before you're done? So that's my only feedback, because we're being picky.
Cody?
Yeah, I'm good with those. Yeah.
That was easy.
Well,
we said all the words.
I think everyone check. You know, the Sonics guy. I was writing about the telephone, and so I missed the very beginning of the Sonics guy. So whenever I tuned in, it just seemed like it was kind of all over the place, and I was trying to play catch up. But as far as number one, telephone, really liked that one. Just minor things that I noticed, but nothing that was really big that stood out. The one that the number three, the Colorado one, it was a lot of information to digest, and I just didn't feel like I had an opportunity until it ended to try to wrap up that whole 5 to 6 minutes worth of information to try to, form an opinion, I guess you could say. So that was the only thing that I wish that there was, some breathable moments in there, maybe some B-roll shots, montage, something like that. But yeah, I think it's good for a 3.
So
Okay.
are we putting the,
So
I'm sorry,
we're
are we
all
putting
in
the Philando
agreement.
Castile on a,
Telephone in the Wind is first. Chris the Sonic Guy is second. Hero Ranch Recovery third, and Long Live His Legacy honorable mention.